Hey everyone, it's Jamie and welcome back to my channel. Today we are in San Myshuno and we are doing a speed build. This speed build's a little different though. For once you're actually going to see how I furnish. So this build originally, it's been here for a while. That's why you don't have the speed build of me actually building this, this build, the shell. So originally I built this a very long time ago. It was like kind of like an apartment building. It was like a old factory that had been converted into a few apartments. But then I was like, you know what, there's so many apartments in San Myshuno, I really don't need more. And I was like, you know what, we need more community lots in my opinion in San Myshuno. So I decided that I was just going to convert it to a restaurant. But then I decided I wanted to turn one of the what are they called, the like rooftop apartments, I was gonna turn that into a restaurant instead, because I liked the idea of, you know, having a restaurant that looks over the city, which I do know we already have that one club that does that, or not club, lounge. So maybe I won't, we'll see what that ends up becoming. But for this one I decided I wanted to do this kind of club, and I definitely made this way after June. It's kind of, I guess, my I don't know, June ended and I realized I hadn't really done anything on my channel to celebrate Pride, and I don't know, I got really upset about that. I think that's just because this year's been weird with like the way time just kind of passes now, just because, you know, we don't, I don't know, everything just, you know, the world's very weird right now. So I decided, I was like, okay, maybe I'll finally do something for Pride now in August. I did actually build this in July, so it wasn't that off, but it did take me till August to do this voiceover. So in this club here, this is something I've been doing a lot on my community lots. I'm trying to also create and add the like gender neutral bathroom, just because I do want to add that kind of gameplay for people who might play with Sims that don't identify as male or female. And I decided also in this video, since this is kind of like my Pride build, even though it's not a build, it's just a furnishing, a revamping of this one lot, I did want to talk about the gender system in The Sims 4. The Sims 4 does have a pretty interesting gender system. You can, within the build or the create a sim, there is a lot of great customability. For the most part, it does seem to focus mostly on the idea of I guess like you can include trans people, but it does seem to be very based on ideas of biology. Sometimes the term is referred to biological trans people, because their gender identities reflect back to biological sex, in the sense that there is no way to create a gender neutral sim. All Sims have pronouns, and that's one thing I was thinking about, because it's definitely a very easy fix. I think under, when you're in create a sim and there's like the options where it's like, can the sim get pregnant, can the sim get other pregnant, or is it a neither? Do they stand or sit down to pee? Do they have a masculine or feminine trait or not frame? And within all of that, that's how you can kind of create bodies that might in Sims that, you know, can be perceived, if you want, as trans. In some ways it is a little limiting, just because, you know, there are trans people who, you know, who pass, you know, and then there are also cisgender people who, you know, don't necessarily fit the how society expects them to look. For example, you know, there are plenty of cisgender women who have what some people might call a masculine frame. So yeah, in that ways, it is pretty limiting, but it is nice that we're able to at least explore that with the gendered system in the game. For me, the only real thing that's missing is a pronoun system, and I feel like that could just be very easily included in that section where it's like, do they stand up to pee? Can they get other Sims pregnant? Just in there, it could be what are their pronouns, and they could do male, female, they and them. And of course, to make it easier, if they really wanted, they could have the game automatically set it to, whatever sex you pick for your sim. So if you pick male or female, their pronouns automatically will go to that, but then you can go in and switch it. And I don't know, I just think it'd be a nice little thing to add. I feel like it's a fairly easy thing to add, and it just, I don't know, I just feel like it would bring a little bit more representation into the game. Right now in the Sims community, we're having a lot of great conversations about being able to represent ourselves and represent everyone in the game. Because as of right now, one thing you may or may not be aware of is there's a big issue where the skin tones in the game, especially for the darker ones, aren't the most inclusive, to put it nicely. In other words, a lot of people have a hard time making themselves in the Sim, especially if they're darker skin, just because a lot of the darker skin tones are very ashy, very gray at times, or they're a little blotchy. They just aren't super well made skin tones, and I don't know if what happened with them. I don't want to make assumptions on what the Sims team did or didn't do, but I don't think it's unfair to say that they're not the best skin tones. I'll even say some of the white skin tones are not that good. Some of them are way too yellow, like to the point where you're like, no one, if you're that yellow, you have like yellow fever. But the issue definitely is a lot more prevalent and a lot worse when it comes to the darker skin tones. So I'm really glad we're having these conversations, and there's people talking about why they don't know why we can't get a slider system. I feel like a slider system would be good. I know some people want to know why we can't get the color wheel. I definitely am wondering why we have a color wheel for Create a Sim, or not Create a Sim, for Create a Pet, but not Create a Sim. But I feel like even if we just got sliders, I feel like that would be a much better system. And just because the current skin tone, because we just get the squares, the swatches, and I feel like the game could come with base swatches, and then you can get your own between mixing and playing with the different sliders, because not everyone is going to be good at it, and they that, or at the bare minimum, I think they just need to make better swatches. If they're not gonna give us a better system, they should at least give us, the best swatches that they can. Just, I feel like, I don't know. So, who knows what the Sims team will do. I'm very hoping that, seeing as more Simmers are being more vocal about it on multiple platforms, hopefully now, some things will be changed. I know it's been talked about for a few years. It seems now it's really picking up steam. So hopefully we will get plenty of new and great rich skin tones. And I know there's some people like, oh, but there's CC. And I know for me personally, I don't play with CC. And then console players also can't play with custom content. So I definitely think it's something that the Sims team should very invest in. And like I said, if they can't give us sliders, if they can't give us a color wheel, at the bare minimum, I think we deserve better swatches. I think I would prefer pretty much getting a very similar system in Create a Pet, where not only do you have the color wheel, but you also have the ability to paint on skins. And I think that would give us the ability to do so many cool and better things with Create a Sim without having to maybe ask for them all. What is that skin? There's I don't know, you might be able to help make better freckles. And I just have to quickly look up something. I don't remember what the skin, I don't want to call it a disorder, but it has like the discoloration. Vitiglia. It's a Vitiligo. Vitiligo. I am butchering it. I'm very sorry, but for those who don't know what that is, it is a disease that causes the loss of skin color in blotches. So I'm pretty sure you've all seen images of it before, and I know people have asked for that in the Sims game, because there are people who have it and they like to be able to represent themselves in the game, as well as people would like to have that diversity. I think this would be a very good way to be able to add it, just by being like, here, now if we had like the paint system like in Create a Pet, but now for Create a Sim, it'd be like, listen, now you can create these skin details on your own. I know there'd probably still be people who would like, no, they would prefer it as a texture or something under the facial features, and I definitely think that wouldn't be a bad idea, but I do think this could be a fix for that. But I don't know, I think different people definitely will have different opinions on what is the correct way to go. I know for me, I'm kind of, I don't know, I worry if we got the only thing I'm worried about a color wheel is I do not want to see townies showing up being like bright pink. I'm sorry. Like, there's a difference if I create a sim that's bright pink and they're bippity bopping around, but I don't want just like random no names who like work at the bar being bright pink, because then it's like, okay, what's going on here? So that's one thing I would worry about. Just because like already the townies and the NPCs that are just generated by the game, they are a fashion disaster. They just come up in like the worst clothes, and and sometimes it's funny in my opinion, but sometimes I'm like, oh. Anyways, let's just get back in the build for a second. So I'm really trying to put lots of fun activities here, because I don't know about you, I find when I come to, I end up making this a nightclub lot. All you can really do is like dance and listen to music and drink. So I did want to add plenty of new things. I have added the bubbler. I added some of the kind of like bar games from Get Together, and just really trying to add different things, as well as I put one of every flag in this build, one of every of the pride flags. I end up putting a little fish tank later, which kind of pointless, but I just thought it'd be fun. I really just wanted to make this build very, like, I don't know if it's very fun, very lively. I definitely, you can't make a club strictly a gay club in The Sims 4. Not that it's even, in my experience, I've never found a gay club that only had gay people in it, if that makes sense. So like there's one in Boston, and I remember we went there, and this guy, he went there specifically to like hit on women, and maybe he was bisexual, I don't know, but it just seemed very strange to me, especially the way because I went with some girls, and the way he was like circling us and trying to like dance with them and talk to them. I don't know, it was very like maybe he was bisexual, I don't know, but it was just very strange to me. And I've definitely gone to that same club with straight people before, and definitely have, so even though in The Sims 4 you can't make a club that's, a gay, it's not like a lot type, I've never been to a gay club that also didn't have the heteros there. So, but you can definitely, with the club system, make a club of people who come and hang out here. I definitely do plan on doing that in my save. Just kind of like a fun little group of people who like to come to this club. And they just all are going to happen to not be straight. But just, I had a lot of fun building this. I did a lot of fun, just like color coding and like making it all very rainbowy, very fun. I got to use those very bright floor and wall colorings and textures or whatever from oh, what's that pack? That Spa Day. I like never use those, and I always want to use them, but they're a little unusable in my opinion. And, you know, you see, I'm just like throwing up every flag. You know, I'm like, we need to get representation for everyone. There are a few flags that look so similar. Like on this wall here, I put two that are way too similar together, and like I kind of hate it, but I'm like, I don't know what else to do because I didn't want to break up the flow too much. I don't know. And then here, I'm just really happy with this build. And I mean, in some parts, like I've always liked the shell. I built the shell a very long time ago, and it's gone over, like I said, so many iterations, and there's been so many things. And overall, I just think it's a fun build. And you know, there's outdoor seating, which I think is nice with those fairy lights. I put a dumpster out there in case your Sims, you know, want to go dumpster diving, or, you know, diving for thrills, as it's put. You know, I just think when I build my community lots, I definitely try to make them as useful as possible. I kind of hate making lots that are just, I don't know, like when I make a bar, I don't want them to just be a bar. I need things in them to make them, you know, worth going, in my opinion. Just because I have a hard time when I'm playing The Sims, at least. You know, because in real life, you know, if I go to a bar, yeah, I'm just going to drink. I'm probably not going to play bar games. I'm probably not going to go, you know, doing all the things your Sims will do. But when you're playing The Sims, you definitely want your Sims to do a little bit more. At least I do. You know, just have them, you know, working on their skills. So that was definitely one thing I was thinking about while working on this was, you know, I want this to be a super usable and super fun lot. But yeah, like I said, that's what I do with all of my community lots. My community lots very rarely are just one thing, if that makes sense. Even when I make lots that are kind of like wedding venues, I definitely add things so that they're usable in other ways. Which, you know, some people probably hate. And sometimes I hate it too, but I don't know, it's been fine so far. But yeah, I ended up just like, I don't know, I just had so much fun with this build. It ended up just being so different, I think, than what I usually do. It's because I also don't really build nightclubs that much. And I think it's just because I never really know what to do with them. And then I was sitting there thinking, I was like, I haven't really done anything for Pride Month. I've just been sitting at home and going to work and, you know, just relatively suffering. And I was like, you know what, this might be a fun way. And it was fun. I did bring one of my Sims here afterwards. It's my Sim that's dating Knox from Eco Lifestyle. They came here together. And I was like, yeah, they're just going to have a good time, party a little, dance together, you know, just fun stuff. I really go out with this rainbow theme. I'm like, we need the rainbow everywhere. Just, you know, we just need it. We need the color. Anyways, I'll be wrapping up my voiceover about now. You can download this off the gallery, as well as you can check out some of my other builds while you're there. Feel free to check out some of my other videos, and I will see you in the next one.